Hey y'all, this is Garrett, and I wanted to make this quick video to inform you about a brand new software that we've been using and testing out that is, as far as I'm concerned, the best Pinterest software on the market. And obviously, if you've followed any of our previous videos, you'll notice that we've gone through some different softwares as far as automation softwares for Pinterest. We've used probably every Pinterest software out there. If you type in Pinterest automation or Pinterest software on Google, we've used them all, okay? From Social Multiplier to Pinomatic to you name it, we've done it, okay? So this hands down is the absolute best software that I have ever used for Pinterest. The automation works exactly how it's supposed to. The programmer and I have become very close. Brilliant, brilliant mind. He's very, very good at what he does. Customer support is hands down the best that I've ever experienced with any type of software that we ever used, and we've used a lot of them, from everything from our SEO business to lead generation to, I mean, we've used a lot of software, have had a lot of software created as well. But this software is beautiful because it automates everything. So you can set it and forget it and have Pinterest going on complete autopilot 24/7. Drip feeding pins over and over and over again, and you'll notice in the background right here, you'll notice these numbers are changing, okay? And these are only 5 accounts, okay? We have other, I have this running on 6 different computers as we speak, all right, and 2 VPSs. So we have it running on a lot. We're running hundreds of accounts at a time. Now, Pinterest hates us. They just really hate us, but it's working so well, not only for social signals, but also for just affiliate products, okay? Now, granted, obviously, we all know that we can't hook up straight affiliate links into our Pinterest accounts, but what you can do is if you wanted to set up an automated, Amazon affiliate website or set up, a Shopify store, any kind of e-com, this is insane what this software is capable of doing. Now, the only problem that we do see, and it's not with the software, it's just on the basis of kicking out so many pins. Now, granted, each account has to have its own IP, all right? It's absolutely mandatory that you have dedicated IPs, and you're going to need a lot of them if you want to take this big. Now, I'll leave a link below for the proxy provider that we use. It's by far the cheapest out there. Just click the link in the description below to grab a hold of that. We can't find proxies any cheaper than that. They do bundle discounts, so that's awesome as well. So definitely check that out. But when you're setting up these accounts, usually if they're brand new, okay, you're not going to want to insert any links, so to speak, inside your a campaign, okay, or inside the source URL is what it would be called, where when someone would click on the pin, it redirects to your offer or affiliate product. Or you're not going to want to put them in the description either. It's a really good way to get banned, but it's vitally, vitally important that you're using proxies on each account. You don't really want to duplicate any of them. So if you're running 150 campaigns, you're going to want 150 proxies, okay? But the cost, or excuse me, the return on investment that you're going to have based on the product that you're selling is going to supersede just hundredfold what you're going to be making, okay? Now, I'm going to briefly go over this. I'm going to make some other videos for advanced tactics. I'm not going to put too much on this. A lot of it is self-explanatory, and I don't really want anybody from Pinterest seeing that we're doing this or seeing some of the ways that we're doing it just because I don't want it to stop. So I'm going to give you some really, really good training. If you have any other questions, we'll probably be doing some private webinars later down the road. Okay, but just keep in mind this is just a very, very slight overview on everything that this software is capable of. Okay, so once you're started and you get the whole program downloaded, there'll be a link that comes to you with an activation key. Just download it. I'm sure you've done it 100 times. Go to your email, click the link, download it, put the activation key in, and this is kind of what it will look like, obviously without the account set up. Now, there's a couple gigs on Fiverr you can go and get to get phone verified accounts with Gmail, or there's a couple tactics that I will be showing later. I don't want to go over it yet again in this video just because I don't want it to stop working. We will be doing private webinars later. If you have any questions about that, just let me know. Otherwise, you can just create Gmail accounts by hand. A really good tactic if you want to get some, phone verified accounts is if you're in a cellular store, just use their cell phones for having somebody sit at home and text them the verification number, and you can get 15 or 20 verified accounts that way. You can also do that for Craigslist for phone verified accounts. We can go over that later as well. All right, so once you get your email set up, what you're going to want to do is you're going to click Add. All right, now put your email, your password, use proxy. Now you can use one account on your regular IP, not a problem, but just use one. Okay, use proxy. Put the IP address. This would be the IP address itself plus the port at the end. So IP semicolon port. And you'll usually, most of them, it depends on the proxy provider. Ours predominantly, if you get it from the proxy provider that we provide, are going to be 80. Then you're going to submit a username and password. The nice thing about the proxy provider that we have, after you purchase, they usually are good to go within 5 to 10 minutes. So you'll have them in hand fairly quickly. Definitely set it up on automation, because if you don't, and you're going to be using this as a long-term traffic generation platform, they'll shut your proxies off and you'll lose all of these campaigns. And it's a really, really good way to get a lot of your accounts banned on Pinterest. So make sure you're watching your email for the reactivation. Okay. Now, a couple things to keep note of when you're creating some of these accounts. Make sure that you're keeping your username and password in some Excel file. I've had a couple problems with the software. It crashed and it lost everything. Now, the programmer was very, very good about getting all those accounts back, but I didn't have it backed up anywhere, which was kind of stupid of me, but I didn't, because I was just excited that it actually found a software that will multitask Pinterest accounts, which is awesome. That's the biggest problem that we found, is finding Pinterest software that actually will do multiple. Social Multiplier was the only one that really came close, but there was a lot of bugs and it didn't automate the whole thing. And as you'll notice while I'm talking, all of these numbers just keep going up. I'm following accounts. This one looks like it crashed a little bit, but it's still doing the unfollow. You can set automation on that. We'll go over that in just a second. And they're still pinning all day, just around the clock. And I have, like I said, 6 other computers and 2 VPSs still running that are just kicking out pins for us, okay? And they're kicking out thousands of pins per day. All right, so after you get a campaign up and running, that box, you'll push save, and then it'll say active if all the credentials are correct. Then what you're going to do is go into the actual campaign itself. Now I'm going to stop this campaign and show you exactly what's happening on the guts. All right, so once you get in here, you'll see a screen a lot like this. All right, now a lot of this information I have grayed out, so you can't see these campaigns that we're running. But just to give you an idea, you're going to want to make sure that you drip feed all of these credentials. You don't want it blasting out, because that's just a really good way of getting it banned. We've noticed that around 4 minutes to 8 minutes per pin works the best. Now, granted, think about it. You're only going to get, 300 some odd pins per day. But if you're running 100 of those, that's where it becomes powerful. All right. So you'll see the select board box. This is what's nice is it takes all of the boards that you've created up front and inserts it into this board box. There is a way back here. If you go in here and then click Tools, there's a board manager, and you can create boards right inside the software, which is awesome. You don't ever have to access the other account or the account going to Pinterest at all. All right. Now, this will show you all your boards. Right here is going to be your timeout, okay, based on how often you want each pin to go out. Like I set it anywhere from 180 to 540 seconds. It seems to work very, very well for us. We really don't have any problems with it. Pins, you can set it. I wouldn't go over 1,000, but like I said, this is going to be all indicative of the timeout anyway. You can put it on autopilot. Most of the time, we just let it run until it runs the pins out, okay? Description URLs. These are going to be the links that are going to be in the description box of your pins. I would highly, highly suggest to keep this below 40%, and you're going to want a lot of links in there. They don't all have to be your links to your derivative products. It's okay to have diversification to other people's properties as long as it's indicative of what you're trying to promote. Okay, so if you're putting a pin up of let's say weight loss, all right? You're not going to want to have a motorcycle as a pin, okay? So you need to make sure that you're pulling pictures that are indicative of the niche itself. Now, this software will also pull the pins off other people's boards. In the advanced tutorials that we will go over on this software, I will show you a couple other tactics that we use to pull pictures externally off of Google. Very, very powerful, okay? Because you're pulling pictures off a platform that probably aren't on Pinterest yet. And Pinterest is more susceptible to leave those accounts up because you're making their platform bigger, okay? Source URLs, all right? These are going to be the URLs when someone clicks on the picture itself or the pin, it redirects to your offers, all right? Now, these are the most important of them. We usually don't use the description URLs just because when you put them in there, they're not hyperlinked anyway, and most people will have to copy and paste them in their browser. Just not as effective as them clicking the pin itself, all right? People just like pictures, and they click them much easier than they will a link, all right? Selecting a board. This is where you're going to select what board you want to send your pins to, all right? And then when you go over Edit Queue, you'll notice that we pulled some pictures straight off Pinterest, all right? Anyone with the descriptions are going to be the ones for Pinterest that are actual pins, all right? Now, you'll notice too that if we click side to side, you'll notice that there's a lot of other pictures. Now, if we're importing, you're just going to click Import. You're going to click the board that you want, all right? And then it'll pin to those specific boards. The one thing I will say is making sure that you're choosing the same board here on the select the board that you want to pin to. If you're not, it won't actually start pinning. Just a kind of a faulty thing, but it's telling the software both internally and on the software itself where to pin, all right? Then you got your repin feature. I don't use this too much. You can if you want. It's repinning specific pictures to another board if you want to do so. Liking, yet again, it's just to have engagement. I don't usually use this whatsoever, but it's definitely there if you want to. Inviting people to pin to specific boards, I don't use that either. This is really just to build the credibility of your boards. It's not a bad feature to have at all. We just don't really use it. We follow the burn and turn tactic, okay? But it is a good way to keep everything fresh. Follow. This is obviously following people so that they will follow you. All right, these are going to be the queries over here. You're going to put keywords that are indicative not only of your niche, but I would put keywords in here explicitly of people that you know will like the specific pins that you're throwing up. All right, so if you're throwing up man cave decor, you're going to want to have boards or pulling users from, muscle cars and classic cars and man cave. Obviously you want users that you think will like your pins and will purchase your product. Very important, all right? To follow, I usually keep the timeout about the same as I do for anything else, 180 to whatever you want to use. Obviously, you want to keep it probably over 440. I wouldn't do it anything less than that. Follow, just how many people you want to follow. I usually do anywhere from 240 to 280. Don't ever go over 300 unless you're doing it on autopilot. Have your timeout spread far enough apart that it's not going to overdo it within that 24-hour period of time, because it will block you. And obviously with Pinterest's algorithm, there's not really any way to tell what exactly flags you from getting your account suspended. But there are several things that we just know to not overdo, and that's one of them. Don't spam it. Use the software. It will work for you, okay? Obviously, we want users. You can follow boards if you want. We usually just use users because we want people to refollow us, all right? Autopilot, yet again, starts at a specific time. This is Army time, so just brush up on your Army time. User criteria, you can set all of these metrics as far as, you only want to follow users that have between, whatever and however many followers, between, blank and blank following, blank and blank boards, blank and blank pins. Really is if you're fine-tuning your market. I usually don't worry about this. We just go for volume, all right? Board criteria, same thing. You can, really up to you on how you do it, all right? Unfollow, this is pretty self-explanatory too. Your timeout again, how many to unfollow per day, and how many hours since these people have not followed you back. We always do users just because it makes the most sense. You can do all of this stuff again. Yet again, this is pretty self-explanatory. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Commenting, Pretty self-explanatory yet again. These is commenting on specific pictures. Make sure that you're not overdoing this. I really probably wouldn't do any more than 20 comments a day, if even that. Comments are a really, really good way of getting flagged out, and you're going to want to put a bunch of them in the comments box. Queries, yet again, this is where it's going to be pulling from, and what type of boards or pins that you are leaving your comments on. Message, this is messaging people internally. This is pretty powerful if you know how to use it. Yet again, do not spam. It is a really good way to get your account shut down. All right, do not spam. A really good way to pick up lead gen as well, or for leads in your specific niche. If you own a home decor store that you can send product to, messaging, just an example, messaging some of these people with smaller boards on maybe purchasing some of your product if you have very unique product. Okay, that's pretty much it as far as the internal guts of everything. Once everything's set up, make sure that you are enabling the things that you want. Click save, and we're good to go. Then you're just going to click on the account and click start. All right, notice that we have 462 pins active. It looks like I'm logged in, and at some point it's going to start pinning my pins. All right, now as I stated, there's several advanced tactics to use. I will leave a link for you to pick up this software. It's incredibly cheap for what it does on automation. This will save you hours of time. Just think about creating your Pinterest accounts. Okay, after you create the Pinterest accounts, how long is it going to take you to find the pictures, to repin the pictures, to do whatever? And honestly, most of the people that probably are looking at this piece of software are more of advanced marketers. And because of that, you can just look at the possibilities. Like I said, this is the only software that we found that actually works with complete automation with multiple accounts. Now, I have accounts that are running 200 and 300 accounts at a time, and it really is indicative of the CPU on my computer. The programmer is brilliant, and I've tried to get him to use more than one processor or be able to use more than one cluster, and he's working on it. So if we can node it out, each node runs one of these pieces of computer on a 64-bit or something like that, that'd be awesome. It's a little bit beyond my expertise. I'm not a programmer. I'm just an SEO guy, and I like to rank things and make money. If you have any questions, like I said, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll leave a link to this software as well as a link to buying proxies. Okay. The only other thing that I want to go over when you're putting your proxies up, all right, make sure that you're using. So let's say we use this account right here. All right. Make sure before you even put the proxy inside the software, when you're creating the account, all right, I use Chrome. So quite often, I use all browsers for some form or fashion, but when I'm using Chrome, that's where I create the Pinterest accounts, all right? So we want to make sure that we have the same proxy that we're going to be using for the software. And the reason being is because you're going to come in here and you're going to go to Settings, and then you're going to go and type in proxy in the search if you're using Chrome, all right? It's the easiest way to do it, unless you're going to have a proxy flipper, but even then, the reason I do it this way is because I want Pinterest to see the same proxy on that account that I'm using. All right. Now, granted, when the proxies run out next month and you have to use new ones, make sure you're looking at your email for that email from the proxy provider so that you can swap out all your proxies in your account. That's the only thing that's tedious, but it's well worth it, and it'll only take you 10 to 15 minutes per campaigns if you're running 100 of them. It really won't take you that long. All right, so after you get in here, you're going to go to LAN settings or LAN settings. Right here, click on proxy server, make sure that's checked, click advanced, and then this HTTP and the secure you're going to use for the proxy. Now this is the port, all right, so making sure that the port is not in here. The proxy string that you'll have will have the port with a semicolon. Just put that after here and put the same proxy in both the HTTP and secure. Then click OK, click OK, click OK, and then you're going to want to make sure to test that it is working. All right, so just look up what is my proxy, or what is my IP, sorry, I'm having a brain fart. And then just choose something, who knows. What is my, I think this one probably works. What is my web address? No. I don't usually check this because I know it works. Well, goodness. How about check my IP? Let's do that. There we go. See, same thing. All right, so that's pretty cool. And like I said, the reason you're going to want to do this is because you want to make sure that Pinterest is seeing on the activation of each account, if you're making new accounts, as the IP that you're going to be putting in the software. And the reason being is because that's a really, really good indicator for Pinterest to block accounts. Now, some of these new accounts you're going to find probably around 25% of them are going to get banned. All right. All you're going to do is you're going to go to Google and type in how to get a banned account reactivated on Pinterest. There's several different ways you can do it. But most of them will get turned back on. I would highly suggest up front for the first couple of days not submitting any links, just pin. Okay, it builds a board, it builds credibility, it starts getting that page authority up on Pinterest, which is awesome if you're actually using it to rank anything, or if you're using syndication. If you're using syndication, this can go even more viral, and you can just build some really, really big accounts. And we're going to get into all of that later because RSS feeds are very, very powerful, and you can actually submit from one account to another on complete autopilot and just make this monster even bigger. Okay, and we're going to go over that later. All right, so if you guys have any questions, yet again, leave it below in the comment box. Like this video, please. This is advanced stuff. It's very advanced stuff, and you're going to be totally excited later when you see exactly what we're about to show you, because it's going to blow your mind. No one else is doing this. I don't even know why I'm sharing this, because this is some serious, serious stuff. Below, link to this software. You definitely need to pick it up. It's going to save you all kinds of time, and it's going to make you a lot of money if you follow exactly what we say. Also, the link for our proxy provider, cheapest on the market. You're going to want to check those out. Get some of them. If you're serious about this, get their biggest package. You're going to save the most money. All right? We'll talk to you guys soon. You have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless. Bye-bye. Hey, y'all. This is Garrett, and I wanted to make this quick video to